Well, hello. Welcome to my podcast, Dr. O's Philadelphia. I'm Dr. Stephen Oliver, and I talk about people in my community of Washington West. I'm here with my guest, Markus Aman of Christopher Markus, the Lion's Mane Salon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well, Stephen. Thank you so much. So what do you think you want to do with your haircut?
So I think just, help me to look a little better.
All right, sounds good, sounds good.
Just kind of trim it up as we normally do above the ears. I'd like it a little bit shorter.
Right.
As you know, I'm a professor, a teacher, corporate trainer, so I want to look good in front of my students and participants. So just touch it up a little bit and make it a little shorter.
Sounds great.
So we're here in your beautiful studio. Markus, can you just tell us a little bit how you got into this profession of hair care and hairstyling?
Well, it's a pretty unusual story because it's really based on a dream. When I was about 20, I was living in Lebanon, PA, a small town, and I was working 3 jobs as well as taking extras from a temp agency just to make money and try to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. My career path at that time was optician, and I wasn't really enjoying it. Then one day, I woke up from a dream. It was a Wednesday morning, and in that dream, I was cutting hair in a hair salon, and it was my own salon.
Oh my God.
And it was really profound. I woke up realizing that this is something that I wanted to do, and it's not something I'd ever thought of doing. I knew other hairstylists, so there was definitely some inspiration, but to have a profound dream where I saw myself doing what I was doing and enjoying it, I thought, wow, I can do this for a living. So I called the local beauty school.
Yeah.
And I asked them about classes and when classes might be starting. And they said, well, actually, classes are starting on Monday.
Oh, wow.
And if you could come in for an interview, maybe we could get you pre-qualified and get you set up. So I went in for an interview the next day. And by Friday, I was signing financial aid forms.
Oh my, wow.
Monday I started class without any books or materials, and I was on my path less than a week after the dream, which I'm still on now.
Yeah.
All of these decades later. And I love what I do. I'm really fortunate to be able to have a profession and an occupation that fulfills that dream, but is able to help others. And it brings joy to the clients that I care for and myself.
Wow, that's such a fantastic story, and
Thank you.
How incredible, you had this dream, and then also the timeliness of it, the timeliness of signing up and registering.
It felt like magic.
Yeah.
Definitely serendipitous, and it felt like one of those destiny moments.
I think we all need to follow our dreams, and I was just reading something about health and wellness, and they had 5 things, and on that list was doing something that you love and you're happy about.
Right.
So you are on a great pathway to good wellness.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's not my dream to have an enormous business with hundreds of employees and be stressed out to the max every single minute. Really, my passion is right here in the chair with my client at that moment, and to be able to do that in a way that nurtures all of us really is fulfilling.
Yeah. Well, we're sitting here, like I said, in Washington West, in your studio, the Lion's Mane, Christopher Markus Lion's Mane. You have such a beautiful studio.
Thank you.
Great pictures and great seating and fantastic lights.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us a little bit about your salon and then tell us about your customers? Who are they and a little bit about them?
When I opened here in 2003, I could have never imagined being one of the long-term residents of the block.
Yeah.
And really enjoying being here for 21 years.
Right.
And so time has flown by.
It has.
There's been many situations and obstacles, but I find it fulfilling and worth it. Sometimes our customers are people who just randomly walk in, basically a gift from the universe, right?
Right, yes.
But most of our clients are word of mouth. And so I've managed to have a lot of clients who've come to me for 20 or 30 years who are continuing to come here. And so that's really what most of my clientele is based on, is long-term clients at this point.
Yeah, well, that's great. Well, you answered my question about how long you've been here. We're on Pine Street, and Pine Street used to be known as Antique Row.
It sure was.
There was so many antique shops back in the 70s, 80s, early 90s, and that's shifted and changed. I think there's only one or two left, but it's other types of retail and shops. But what prompted you to come here?
It sure is true. When well, I was living a block away from here.
Oh, okay.
At that moment, and a neighbor across the street from me was renovating this building, and so when Christopher and I were looking for spaces, we decided to seek out multiple spaces within the neighborhood. We definitely wanted to stay here in Washington Square West. We thought this was a central neighborhood. We thought it was cute. There was lots of walk-by traffic.
Right. And as we just heard, there's honk-by too.
Yes, there's honk-by, there's bicycles, there's walkers, there's everything. And we noticed that there were no salons in the neighborhood at all. There were none at all. And now there's probably at least one or two salons and barbershops on every block around here.
Yes.
So at that time, when it was full of antique stores, it was kind of hard to imagine that there would someday be thriving restaurants and home stores and salons and personal services all around us. So it was a risk, definitely.
Yes.
It was a calculated risk, but it was a risk to take this space. When Christopher and I walked into this space, there was nothing. There was a toilet in the middle of the floor.
Oh, wow.
Bird poop everywhere. And I walked in and I saw the space and I was like, it's perfect.
Right.
Christopher said, oh, are you sure? But I just knew that the space had a good feeling about it. And I had no idea how much work and effort it was going to take to put in floors and walls and windows and air conditioning. But we did it in a matter of a few months.
Right.
At the time, we were working in a salon nearby.
Okay.
And so it was important to us to keep our clients comfortable and not have them walk too much further. It was also important for us to be able to walk to work. One of the joys of living in the city is being able to walk to work, have a low commute, and really be connected to the customers.
Right.
And what's going on here.
Can you just tell us a little bit about your philosophy of service and working with clients?
Oh, well, I think that each client has their own needs and their own vision of what they think they look like and what they think they should look like. And I'm here to take that vision and make it even better. Bring out the best in people, make everyone look and feel their best. And I think that's really my mission, is to take care of each individual member of the community that comes in here and give them the best experience they possibly can have and make them look good and feel good.
Yeah.
That's what we're all about, is making people look good and feel good. And it's my job, but it's also, I think, that what people need. Yeah.
Well, it really is. And I know that after I have come for a hairstyling and haircut with you, I feel so much better. And what's important to me is looking good in front of my students and participants.
Yes.
Yeah. So you feel like it's kind of a form of therapy.
I absolutely do. I think that a lot of people equate what I do here to therapy. They feel that they can talk to me about anything and everything, and they often do. And so I sometimes feel that people tell me more than they tell their therapists.
Right, yes. I'm sure they do.
I've kind of renamed it Hair-apy because I think in Hair-apy I have the ability to share of myself and my own personal experiences as well. So I'm not just writing things down on a note and asking you how you feel about everything that you're going through. I can tell you, hey, Stephen, this isn't right, what you're going through, or have you ever thought about it from my point of view and some of the things I've been through, maybe.
Yeah.
And so I think that's sometimes something you don't get from an actual therapist. And I see my clients so regularly and so often for so many years that I really do see that journey that they're on and try to be there for them.
Well, that's great. Thanks for sharing that.
Surely.
So Marcus, you run a business.
Yes.
You're not just a stylist and doing hair. You also have employees and
It's true.
to pay the rent and the light and electricity.
Truly.
And be part of this community here. What are some of the challenges and opportunities of running a business? That's kind of a big loaded question there.
It is a big loaded question. There are many challenges and opportunities, and many of them are surprises.
Right.
And so I have to be constantly flexible and open to the idea of change, and open to the fear that negative things will pop up on any day, but also open to the possibility that great things happen.
Yes.
And so I try not to focus on the negative unless, of course, it takes over. If there's a hole in the ceiling or a pandemic that hits or, a negative situation that happens, just try to do the best you can to navigate it. So I don't know if that answered your question exactly.
No, it did, because I think especially the day-to-day, any business or what all of us do, you get up and you walk into your business or you log on to the computer and you're like, you just never know what's going to happen. And I agree with you. You have to be positive and, go after those challenges as best you can.
And I have to be very prepared. So being prepared involves having the discipline to have specific time set aside for navigating complicated situations with accountants, attorneys, payroll.
Right.
I have staffing issues to deal with. Everyone has their own needs and their own issues.
And a big city like Philadelphia, all the regulations with a city or anywhere you're at.
Exactly. Opening up a business in the city of Philadelphia is not easy. And I think most people who do it have no idea what they're walking into.
Right, yes.
If I'd had a mentor, it would have been easier. If there was a small business person, someone who walked me through the steps to open a small business, I think it could have been a lot easier. But what Christopher and I did was we opened a business not knowing how to do it.
Right.
And we just signed a lease and thought we might have enough clients and took a big chance, used our own money, and just worked really hard. And after 3 years, we ended up in a big tax bind, and that could have sunk us from the very beginning. And I think a lot of small businesses find that after 2 or 3 years, there's tax issues and debt issues, and you have to figure out how to navigate those.
And you get these notices from the city out of nowhere.
Yes! All of a sudden, surprise!
I have to do that? Are you kidding me?
You owe $30, which is now $300, and it could turn into $3,000 like that. Exactly. Yes.
Well, again, you're reinforcing that comment you made earlier about taking a risk. So you just have to take a risk, go for it, and work hard. So here's the big question.
Yes.
COVID, oh my God. So I know your partner, Carl. I've done some business things with him. I knew you guys, but I was going somewhere else because I was really thrifty. And then COVID hit, and I could not get my hair cut anywhere.
You could not.
I mean, it was 3-4 months, and I was looking really even more shaggy than I do now. And so then I just gave it a whirl and came to see you. And
what's fascinating about that, Stephen, not to cut you off, is that I have always felt that you've been a client here forever.
Yep.
And so when you walked in and became a client at the Lion's Mane, it felt as though you had already been coming here for 20 years. Yeah. And I was frankly surprised when I looked at your file this morning and I saw that 2020 was the first time that you came into here.
Yes.
Because I could have sworn you'd be coming here for years before that. And so I think that not only are you a natural fit for our clientele and our neighborhood, there's just a comfortability here that's natural. And I think and I hope that you feel that as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you for saying that. And I do. I feel like it's family. And I live here, and it's great. And I love having Hair-apy with you.
Yes, good. Excellent. I'm so happy to hear that. Yes.
But Marcus, what was it like during COVID? I mean, for every business, everybody was hit hard unexpectedly. What was it like for you going through that?
It was the most dramatic, devastating thing that had ever happened to my business in any way. It was unprecedented. All of a sudden, in March of 2020, we were told that we had to close down the business for up to 2 weeks. Which turned into 3 or 4 months. And so the amount of time being told that I would have to close my business for 2 or 3 weeks, I thought, I don't think my business can sustain that.
Right, yeah.
I don't know how I can not work for 2 weeks unplanned, cancel all of my clients, and actually rebound in any way. And so fear really struck my heart. And I thought, oh crap, I'm going to have to do something. How am I going to do this? I'm going to have to do secret haircuts or a speakeasy style salon, or I just didn't really know what to do. And then there was all this news coming out about this horrible disease that was affecting everyone. And this disease suddenly was something that could be spread through the air and through touching surfaces. And so being a little bit of a germaphobe, it made me feel like the whole world was shutting down in a way that we would not be able to rebound from. So it was terrifying to look that in the eye and think, I'm going to try to figure this out. So many businesses did not. My next door neighbor closed, and other salons around me were closing very quickly within weeks of that notice. And I spent every day coming to the salon, contacting clients, talking to people, cleaning this place out. I had to get rid of all of the furniture, and we had to start covering everything in plastic, and we had to come up with ways to do business that was considered a sanitary way at that point. And I'm jumping ahead 4 months because for those first few weeks, we had no idea when we would be opening or reopening. The government kept telling us that it would be another week or two and another week or two, and it wasn't happening. So fortunately, my landlord, APM Real Estate, who are fantastic, were there for me. So landlords allowed me to withhold rent, and I was able to place any loans on pause. And so I pulled from my savings and from credit just to continue to pay vendors and try to just keep this place going.
Yeah. Well, what gave you the resilience to just keep going instead of maybe ending it or doing something different? What really gave you the resilience?
I don't know exactly what gave me the resilience, but I've always been a fighter, and I've always been a survivor. And I think that I don't make a big deal out of it, but one of the things that I feel strongly is that as an immigrant to the United States, I came from Germany when I was small. I've always felt that I had to fight a little harder to catch up. Right. In the beginning, I fought to speak English without an accent and to be able to assimilate into American schools. And furthermore, being disconnected from family and friends overseas, I've always felt like I've had to focus a little harder to overcome obstacles. I came from a military family background as well.
Okay.
So we were moved around a bit. And so I've always had to figure out how to adjust and meet new people and overcome new circumstances and obstacles. So I really do think that background gave me some of what I needed to move forward. I do think that all of the obstacles that come into our lives are challenges and lessons. And I really hope to inspire others who face obstacles and challenges, because we don't know what they are and what they're going to be, and they seem like mountains at times.
Yes.
And that's what COVID really felt like. It felt like somebody had finally put a giant mountain in front of my dream, and suddenly, after working here for 18 years and living my dream, it was blocked. So I could slink into the shadows and just forget it and hide and try something new, maybe dream up something new. or I could fight for this. And that was a tough decision. There were many times where I didn't know for sure that this was the right decision.
Well, I'm so glad that you fought hard and you're
Me
still
too.
here.
Me too. So it is a heavy question, and you can sense from
yeah.
my mood that there are many different layers and many different depths. What helped me the most, though, was the perseverance of my clients. The support from people like you who were not even clients, who were really just needed a haircut and believed in me. And because of those people, that was what I needed. That was the emotional support that I needed.
I really wanted to support you because if you succeed, I succeed. And so
you're correct. That's how I feel.
I just really am so glad you have been resilient, and I'm continuing to come see you. So
that's so wonderful.
And be a part of this community. So can you just tell us a little bit about the staff and some of the people who work with you, and what's it like working with some of the folks?
Oh, absolutely. We're a very small staff here. I work with one other stylist whose name is Teeny, and we've been working together for about 15 years. I always like to joke around that it's been 3 or 4 years, but those 3 or 4 years compound and keep snowballing.
They come and go so fast,
Teeny and I provide, I think, an important yin and yang kind of feeling here in the lion's mane. I think that we both strive to give the best possible service to our clients. We enjoy giving good service to our clients. It is so much fun to come in and take great care of somebody who really needs to be taken care of and who loves you and loves your work and appreciates it. And I think that Teeny is a prime example of that, of a stylist who has incredible technical skills. She's positive and upbeat all of the time, and just absolutely gives her 100% to her clients and to me as a boss. I feel like I'm not a boss. I feel like she feels like a partner to me. And I really respect and appreciate that. Not having a business partner anymore creates a huge challenge for me as a business owner. It's so much easier to have a business partner. And with Teeny, I don't have a business partner, but I do have a partner in work. And she does take on a lot of business responsibility and a lot of weight away from me. And especially when it comes to communicating about the other staff that we have. We currently have 4 assistants that are all part-time who provide support and help to the salon in various different capacities. And those people are the magic behind what we do, as well as our vendors. And so our vendors are also incredibly important. You met one of them earlier today, who was Michael, our cleaner, who is an incredible, important part of our staff as well. And so all of the people from the window cleaners and the supportive businesses that are around us are part of why we're able to give the service that we give.
Well, I told you this before. I had been coming to you for a while. One day you were booked up, and so your assistant says, well, would you like to have Teeny cut your hair? And I'm like, fine, And so then I came to her for quite a while, and I love the conversations with you, but I love the conversations with her because we always talk about the latest and greatest restaurant and what's hip and what's not, and food and all kinds of fun things. So I really enjoy talking to her. I like coming to both of you equally, and it's an extension of your business. So great partnership.
Thank you so much. Teeny has become family, and we are really blessed, I think, to have each other and to have this space and this community that we're so much entrenched in and a part of. Without those people supporting us, this would feel like a soulless endeavor. And it's not. It's full of soul and life and beauty and magic. And normally throughout the day here, we have fun music and people wandering in and out all day long. And the days fly by.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I have not only come to Markus for my hair, but I've come to you. And it's one time he was really busy and I came to you and we had such a great time, a great experience. So do you mind just real shortly just telling a little bit about yourself and how you're connected to hairstyling?
Well, I've been in this area, I think, for 30 years plus. I started at a salon on 11th and Locust that had closed, and made my way to 10th and Pine, brought my clientele with me there. And then this was my last stop. It was here. I walked in one day and I asked if they were looking for a stylist, someone who had a small clientele, and I wanted to work part-time. I was I was in the middle of raising children and trying to be with my family. And Markus interviewed me, and I guess a month later had hired me.
Yeah,
And,
right.
Yeah, and it's been all good since then.
Well, that's fantastic. So glad that you're part of this. Jeannie, do you mind just telling us a little bit about, your interaction with customers and what's it like working with your clients and the connections that you have with them?
I love it. That's probably the one thing I can say about choosing this career that I did. I absolutely love what I do. There is not a morning that I get up and say that I don't want to come to work. It's a different kind of a job. You meet very interesting people. And I feel like my clientele has taught me so many things in life. And I feel very, very lucky that I've chosen this path, this direction that I have been in all these years.
Well, that's great. So you mentioned you brought some clients when you came here. How do clients come to you, and how do you stay connected to them and maintain that relationship?
Years ago, when I was working on 11th and Locust, we were right across from Jefferson. And at the time, we had a very big clientele that would walk in. People would just walk in off of the streets. And I think that's how I started my clientele. And then they just followed me over the years. But I like the closeness that I have with my clients. I don't refer to them as clients anymore. I think that they're friends.
Friends, right?
They become my friends. Some of them are part of my family. And I like the closeness that I have with them.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Well, that's great. And I love the conversations you and I have. We talk about the latest and greatest
We do.
Restaurants. You tell me about things that you and your husband have been to, and I tell you the ones I like. We also talk about the ones that we're not that thrilled with. What is your passion about, going to restaurants and food places?
Well, I think I'm a little bit of a foodie. Of course, we all love food.
Right, yeah.
And I think food brings people together, at least in my household.
Right.
Yeah, I'm still big with having big Sunday dinners and family and friends, and it's just the closeness, and it's the happiness of everyone being together.
Right. Well, and you have also told me about, having to go home and cook for whatever holiday it is. So it sounds like you really enjoy being a part of that, of your family. I
enjoy it. I think that's my hobby. I think some people like to read a book. That's their time where they just get to sit and relax. I like to be in the kitchen.
Well, that's great. Well, one day I may just come knock on your door.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And you're always cooking too. So everything that you make sounds so amazing.
Right. Well, I do. And then you also have some children, and you're really into your family. So I hear good things about your kids and what you're doing with them.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah. So, Teenie, what is it like working here? What is it like working with Markus and being in this community, Washington West?
I think working with Markus is amazing. He's a very genuine, sincere person. There is not one bad thing I can say about him. And I say that freely. I tell his clients, I tell my clients, and I mean that. I mean that with my heart. He's a very, very, very good person. He never makes me feel like I'm an employee. And he always asks for my opinion, and he wants to know my thoughts and what we can do to make the salon better, a better place, not just for our work environment, but for our clients who come in. Right,
yeah. And how about, coming here, because you live outside of the city, but what's it like coming here to Washington West?
I think I'm fine with it. People question me all the time. Why do you come here? Why didn't you just stay in Delaware and start over again? And I'm from the city. I'll always be from the city.
Yes.
And I still feel like I have that passion. I want to come into the city. I love the liveliness. I love the noise. I love it all. And I feel like I'm taken away from, the suburbs. I come into the city and my clients tell me all the good places, and it makes me feel alive. It makes me feel alive.
Well, that's great. Well, any final thoughts about, being a hairstylist and the work you do and just being involved in this career?
I think if I had to do it all over again, I would pick the same. It would be the same choice, this. And I think the reason why I can say that is because of my clientele.
Right.
I've learned, like I said, I've learned a lot. There have been a lot of clients who have taken a lot of interest in me, even when I was young, just to help me along the way. And I don't think there's a lot of people that can say that. And that's one of the main reasons why I love what I do.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that passion. So, well, I just wanted to thank you so much, Teeny, part of Christopher Markus Lions Mane, working here. And I'm so excited about the next time I come to see you and what new restaurant that we talk about.
Yes.
So thank you very much for your time.
All the time, Stephen. It was nice to talk to you.
All right, great, thanks. I notice around your salon here, you've got all these great pictures from local artists. This period of time, you are, focusing on these great pictures of Philadelphia, all these wonderful older buildings.
Yes.
So this artist, that's what you're showcasing, this artist. But you've had other artists in different topics at other times. Can you tell us just a little bit about why you, display these pictures and why you're supporting the artwork?
Surely. My mission is to support the local arts and to support artists here in the Philadelphia region who are trying to make it, who are trying to get their artwork out there. Of course, the ideal is to be able to actually sell it, which will make that actual money, right? But the most important part of my the most important thing that I think I'm doing is providing wall space for them to show this artwork. In the first few salons that I worked in, they had outdated photographs of haircuts that were outdated by the time they were even put up. And in the very last salon I worked in, the owner had beautiful artwork that he bought in a gallery, and people constantly commented on how they liked that artwork and would often ask if they could buy it.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't sell it. It was his own private artwork. And I thought, I know a lot of artists, and we know a lot of artists in the community because there are art schools nearby, and Philadelphia is a city that supports the local arts as well. So I thought, maybe we could just give it a go and offer our walls to a new artist every month and see how long we can sustain that for, and just try to do it through the network. Well, once a month was very unsustainable, if you can imagine that. We were hammering lots of holes into the walls, and we were really unable to sell a lot of work. And so over the course of a few years, I started to realize that 3 to 6 months was more of a Goldilocks period. And so that's what I try to give the artists now. I try to give them a 3 to 6 month period in which they can showcase their art. They can bring in new pieces throughout the time that they're hanging their work here. And it's sort of their own private gallery. These artists can send their own friends and family in to look at the pieces if they like, and sell the work out of the space. But very many times clients of ours will be attracted to certain pieces and styles of art, and buy things for their homes or for their friends. And so it's been really wonderful to see who buys what art and where it goes. Sometimes it feels a little bit like an orphanage. But I have all of these pieces, and I know exactly where they live now. And I think that's really fun. And so we've shown abstract work and expressionist work, and we've had a lot of realism and impressionists, and photography. We've had one of the most interesting shows we had here was a show of about 30 or 40 cutting boards that a woodworker made.
Oh, okay, wow.
And they all sold. And so the current exhibit is by an incredible young man named Eric Wiedemann.
Right.
And
Yes.
Eric is a local young man who was recommended to me by a client who bought one of his paintings at a coffee shop. So Eric's work has been doing very well in here. He does very beautiful photorealistic paintings of scenes of Philadelphia.
Yes.
From unusual perspectives.
Right.
And his medium is normally acrylic, and his prices are incredibly reasonable. This show's done very well, and he's sold 4 pieces so far. And we've got another month and a half left, so
Okay, right.
who knows?
Well, I think that's a great idea to keep them a little longer.
Yes.
I'm actually, as you're talking, I'm eyeing this one picture, and I see it every time I come here.
Who knows? The painting of the Food and Friends store behind us.
Yes, yeah,
Yes.
so great.
It's a
Wonderful.
beautiful piece.
Yeah. So that's so great that you give back. Well, Markus, we're going to wind down now. Any final thoughts about, your profession, your dream, taking a risk, resiliency, your shop here? Any final thoughts?
I really do believe that America is the land of opportunity. And this country has provided me with the opportunity to begin my own business. And even though it wasn't easy, here I am on a path that I fully chose on my own, without recommendation or specific instruction from anybody else. And I was fortunate enough to figure out that dream at a very young age.
Yes,
And even more fortunate to have a loving and supportive husband who follows that dream and supports me in it. We've been together for 27 years now.
Right.
And he's the one who has to hear
Your day-to-day stuff when you come home.
Yes, exactly.
Lucky
And
him. No,
he gets
but-
to see how tired I am and how worn out I am
Yeah.
at times, and how frustrated I can be with certain things. And then he's also very inspiring and encouraging for me to kind of get back out there and fight.
Yeah.
He runs his own business as well, and it's a
Right.
consulting firm, and so government relations consulting firm.
Yes. Well, Carl's a great guy. I know him through business here, and he's great. Well, I just can't thank you enough, Markus, for coming to the podcast today.
Thank you, Stephen.